Welcome to Paperweights, the podcast where two self-proclaimed gym rats and shooting enthusiasts delve into the world of literature with a sprinkle of humor. Although their biceps could crush a walnut, don't let that intimidate you. They also have a nerdy side. Mike and Brandon have a voracious appetite for reading, particularly in the fantasy genre, and they want to share their passion with you. So grab your protein shake and your favorite novel and join us for a humorous and insightful journey into the world of books with Paperweights.
A special short stack edition of the Paperweights podcast. I'm your host, Justin. And today we're going to be starting our journey in the Throne of Glass novels with Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. And before we get into that, I just want everybody to please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that stuff to, I'm going to be doing every one of these as I go through the series. So if you want to join me on this journey, please feel free. And also, before we start, we have our sponsor, Mudcat Whiskers. Go to mudcatwhiskers.com and use the code Paperweights to get a discount on all your beard care products and things like that. They have a lot of good products for you to check out. So yeah, please do that. And anyway, we'll start the show. I don't really have the ad read in front of me or anything like that, so I'm doing a little bit off the cuff. But I'm gonna get into the what is the Throne of Glass series, and I'm gonna explain all that and my experience with it, and then I'm gonna go over the Assassin's Blade, this prequel novel, and we'll go from there. So yes, first off, my experience with Sarah J. Maas and her books is I've read Throne of Glass, I think 2 times. This will be my 3rd reread of it. As you could probably tell, I enjoy the series a lot. I've also read ACOTAR, which is more in the romance fantasy genre. It's not my thing as much as I like her. I still enjoyed it, but it's not nearly as good as Throne of Glass. And then I've read the first Crescent City, and then I tried book 2, but it was a little rough. So I want to go back to Crescent City. And then I've also read some other stuff. So I'm a big Sarah J. Maas fan. I enjoy her novels. They are very fun, very easy to read, and I have a lot of great characters. So I'll explain the Throne of Glass series. I try to do very light or no spoilers. I might have a spoiler section at the end of the book. But basically, it's a high fantasy series with romance elements in it. It's way less than something like ACOTAR. I'd say probably 80-20 into the high fantasy with romance and epic romances and things like that. Let's say it's pretty easy reading. Like if you're just starting off like 13 or something, you could easily read this book and enjoy it. It's not super complicated story-wise or character-wise or anything like that. It's just good fun. If you could read something like The Hunger Games or like Red Rising, anything like that, you could easily read this. So basically, it's in the world. I don't think the world actually has a name, but they're on the continent of Aurelia, something like that. And basically, is this cat? Grab the cat. Bye. And basically, there was a bunch of kingdoms, and about probably like 10 years or so ago from where this novel starts, the king of Ardland basically did something that took away all magic in the world, and then kind of invaded and conquered most of the continent. So they're still like at the start of Throne of Glass proper. There's still some rebels and stuff hiding out. some places, but basically the entire continent is captured. And when I say magic, this world doesn't really have like wizards per se. It's more like innate magic, like the Fey magic, or like fairies, Fey, witches. The witches are a big part of it. And anyway, on this continent, somehow the King of Ardland has stripped the magic away, opening up for his armies to invade. They've also persecuted and killed most of the magic users of this continent. They've either died or fled to other parts of the world. That's where it starts off. And then we're introduced to our principal character, Selena Sardothan, who is this master assassin, like 17-year-old master assassin. She's been trained under this guy named Ereban Hamel. He's the king of assassins in Riftland, which is the Rifthold, which is the capital of Ardland, and basically the capital of this continent, since everybody's been taken over. And Selena is very, confident, cocky, arrogant. She has quirks, but she's, a badass and likes to mess with people. She's kind of like your typical kind of YA heroine, just very arrogant and just like full of cocksure of herself. And but she has the skills to back it up, as you see throughout the novel and throughout the series. And she has a mysterious past that we don't get into in this book. But yeah, she's been trained by the Master of Assassins, and they have a very complicated relationship. Kind of father-daughter-ish, because he found her mysteriously, she was 6 in a very auspicious circumstances that the book doesn't really get into, but we learn later in the series. So yes, she likes fancy clothes. She likes fine fine things in life. She makes lots of money because she's a master assassin. At this point, when we're introduced to her, she is, she's killed lots of people, and she has her skills. The world doesn't know that she's this master assassin because nobody knows what she looks like, or even that she's a woman. But she has a reputation that she upholds. And so she's our main character of this novel and of the series. And then also we have our other semi-main character is guy named Sam Portland, who is another assassin. His mother was a courtesan, but she didn't want him to have to follow in her footsteps, so he ended up joining into the Assassin's Guild, and he's just as skilled as her, and they have a budding, tension-filled relationship that maybe will they, won't they type thing throughout the novel. He's really good. He obviously, you find out really early that he has feelings for her, and they're gonna do their own stuff. There's not really too much magic in this book so far, because once again, all of magic has been stripped from the land. But also, this is a prequel to the main series, Throne of Glass. And the way it's done is it's split up into kind of 5 little short stories that are kind of being put in chronological order that then lead up basically directly to the start of Throne of Glass. And if you know Throne of Glass, you kind of know where it's heading and kind of get the tension of that as it starts getting closer and closer to the climactic start of Throne of Glass, which I will not get into. I might get into a little bit in the spoiler section. So yeah, that's the world. The world is cool. It's fairly, at the start, fairly generic fantasy. It starts opening up more in the later books, where you get the more magical beings like the witches, who are really cool, and the fae, and all the different magics. Right now, it's kind of just fairly simple, kind of clandestine assassin stuff. That's also really fun. And you get kind of hints of things that are going to happen in the main series, which is what these stories are. So I'm going to go through them briefly, I'm not going to spoil anything that happens in them. This is kind of roughly the 5 stories that are in the book. The first one is the Assassin and the Pirate Lord. Uh, in this one, Selena gets sent to meet with Rolf the Pirate King about a deal that her master, Arabin, has procured from him. And things go, awry because the fun stuff happens in the book. And you'll have to get into that. But you meet the Pirate King. He's a very interesting person. He supposedly has this like map that will show anything, but since magic doesn't work, kind of like Jack Sparrow's compass. It's kind of like that, but it's actually like a map. But it doesn't work because magic doesn't work. So maybe is it real? Is it not? We get some fun pirate adventures, harrowing action scenes in this. But anyway, so something happens there, and then we get to the assassin and the healer, which basically after the incident with the pirate lord, her master is a little ticked off with her, so he is sending her to train with these other assassins. The the main dude is called the Mute Master. He's like doesn't speak. He's like basically a monk. He's really cool. Um, and basically she's stowed away in this kind of dingy town. And then she meets this woman who is a waitress, and her name is Irene Towers. Um, she really wants to leave the continent and go study abroad at this it's like the torn. It basically that's not the right word, but she wants to go abroad and study at this like prestigious healing school. Her mother was a healer, and in this case, it was a magical healing. And when magic died and all the persecution happened, her mother was killed by the king of Ardland and all of his people because magic was outlawed, and he started murdering all the people. So she kind of fled, and she ran out of money at this kind of dingy dingy town. She works at this bar, and she's trying to, make ends meet. Hopefully, try to save up some money to go overseas, but she's getting scammed by the innkeeper and all this other stuff. And then she meets Selena, and they have a fun repertoire, and something happens. I'm not gonna spoil what, but she's really cool. I will say, I'm not gonna say who comes back, but a lot of these characters that she meets along her journeys will come back in the later books. So it's really fun reading them like as these kind of one-off stories, knowing that they will potentially come back, most of them, or any of them. But yes, that's kind of that one. That's a really fun one. Urane is a great character. And yeah, it's just kind of a little bit more kind of world building and stuff, less action, even though there is some action in this one. And then it goes to the assassin and the desert, which is when she kind of leaves the town and gets on a ship, and she goes to the Red Wastes, right? Where the mute master and all of his kind of monks, the Red Desert, where the mute master and all of his kind of like monk assassins are kind of held up. They have like this stronghold. We get some good desert action where she kind of, she ends up going. She gets befriended by this lady Ansel of Barcliff. Uh, she's really cool. She wants to like take back her homeland, which is in the Witchlands, which we get mentioned of the Witchlands, where the witches, it's like a cursed land where the witches used to rule, and nobody really knows exactly, but it's like nothing will grow there and anything like that. She's from that area, and they have a good friendship. I'm not going to spoil what happens. It's very interesting with Hansel, and then you get to meet the Mute Master, who's this kind of like I said, like picture like a monk kind of teaching her how to like he doesn't speak. Obviously, he's called the Meat Master, but he like, teaches her how to like think of more stuff and get even more badass in hand-to-hand combat and things like that. Really showing her Selena's skills and further filling out the world. And there's some interesting dynamics with the assassins and like the local lord and government and things like that. There's some really good uh, scenes with that, and we get Ansel. So, and the ending of this one is really good. I'm not going to spoil anything again, but yeah, that's so basically she goes to meet Master because uh, Araban was pissed off at her. So he's like, "Here, go. You're gonna go to the waste and get your ass kicked for like 3 months as punishment." And she does that, and she gets to kind of learn, like Pai Mei and Kill Bill style, a bunch of new cool skills. And then we get kind of two sections that are kind of basically similar. It's well, not similar, but they're like in the same place and they kind of flow into each other. She comes back to Rifthold as the assassin in the underworld and the assassin in the empire. And basically, these are a bunch of more her and Sam's relationship blossoming, her trying to get out of the thumb of her master Araban, who kind of holds a financial leverage over her because he's like paid for her training, so she needs money to uh be able to like buy her contract basically out from underneath him. And also she lives in his keep. It's called like the Assassin's Keep. It's pretty cool. So she's trying to get, her own place. This is also where we meet Lysandra, who is just like kind of the same age as Selena, so about like 17. She's just like courtesan who's kind of like up and coming. They kind of have this like rivalry. It's fun seeing her because she becomes way more important in later books and she's really cool. So you kind of get their budding relationship that you kind of just hear about in the later books if you haven't read this prologue. And you get the more culmination of the kind of romantic tension of her and Sam. And then stuff happens that sets up Throne of Glass and basically directly just like leads into Throne of Glass. So that's kind of the book. It's very fun. All the different sections are short enough so they flow really nicely. And if you're just starting to get like tired of her being in the desert per se, that's kind of over in like 60 pages or something. So if you're getting it just jumps to each section, they're all fun. They all introduce fun characters that may or may not come back in later books. And you get to really learn about Selena and her skills. Help set up her kind of master assassin ways, and you get to really learn about her character. It's so that's the book. I would definitely highly recommend it. For some reason I didn't read this one when I read the series. I think I either wasn't out or I just kind of forgot about it. So this was my first time reading it. It really puts into perspective some of the characters that come back. And her, sometime in the book, she's like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy," and it's like it seems like she knows everyone, but it's like no, it's been established that she knows the person, and so it's really elevates to a level instead of just feeling a little convenient. She knows somebody in later books. Um, I would read it. I would read it here if you so you don't get spoiled in some of the character what happens to them. So you find out pretty quickly what happens to people in Throne of Glass, the first book. So it's kind of fun knowing the thing and feeling the tension of what's coming. But I would say not knowing would be better, so you get surprised. So I definitely read this one first, then read obviously Throne of Glass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I would give this a high recommend. This series is really fun. It's easy to read. It's got fun characters. I'm reading Throne of Glass 1 right now. It's called Throne of Glass. And I want to say that this definitely feels uh, better written. Seems like it came out later. And it's a little bit less generic. Throne of Glass, just a little hint for the next one I'm going to be doing, is it's like a tournament arc, like, oh, we gotta like win to become a champion of the king or whatever. So it feels way more kind of like Hunger Games, Red Rising type, and not quite as original. For this, I think brings it all together and it's really fun. Like I said, it's gonna keep repeating. Um, and yeah, I'll have more to say. Uh, it's interesting going back to these books because like a lot of my favorite characters aren't in the early books because they come later. They're all really great. So I would say this: if books, the couple of the early books are, dragging a little bit, or you're not into it, at least get to book 3 where it kind of like the actual story kind of starts. And yeah, give it a check. Check it out. And join me. I don't know when I'm gonna be posting the next one. I'm gonna try to finish Throne of Glass. I'm about halfway or a little bit more than halfway through. So maybe in a couple weeks I'll post Throne of Glass and then I'm gonna be going on to the next one. Because I really enjoy these and I just kinda wanna talk about it. And I now have a platform with podcasts. So yeah, if you made this far, like, comment, subscribe, comment on your favorite character. I'll give you a little hint. I think my favorite character is Menon, who I'll just give a little taste of what's to come. She is an iron-blooded witch that rides on a wyvern, and she has basically like Wolverine claws and like iron teeth, and she like eats people. She's cool as shit. So yeah, magic is coming in these books, but it's not here yet. So just a little tease of what's to come. And yeah, like I said, stay Throne of Glassy, I guess. Bye.